So me and my friends, Yaron and Elad, went to a movie that should have been great. But the fact is it just got destroyed before it even hit theaters. And it's not the director's fault. After the amazing success of The Hunger Games and the not-so-amazing success of Divergent, Lionsgate decided to go on a new venture and expand their fields of interest beyond a girl trying to save America from a dictator. Gods of Egypt is a retelling of Egyptian mythology from the eyes of director Alex Proyas. In ancient Egypt, the gods live amongst people, and the difference between gods and people is that the gods are about twice as larger than their people. The gods can also transform to all kinds of animals. The movie starts in the day of Horus's coronation. Horus is a grandson of Ra and the son of Osiris. Before Osiris could successfully transfer his crown to his son, Seth comes along the party. He comes to the party with a bunch of his Egyptian soldiers from the desert and installs a coup. He believes that Horus is not fit to be king, and so he gouges his eyes and takes the crown from him. For those of you who aren't familiar with all of Egyptian mythology, Horus has his power through his eyes, and these are the only things that can make him the god he is. Seth becomes the new ruler of Egypt, and Horus is sent to exile. Seth installs a regime of fear, and every citizen of Egypt who used to be very prosperous becomes his slave. And the only one who can save Egypt is Horus, but not without his eyes. And so this boy comes along, and this boy has his wife killed by Seth's architect. And the boy has the courage to bargain with Horus. I'll give you one of your eyes, and in return you will save my beloved's life. He steals Horus's eye, gives it to Horus, and that's where the journey begins. They go on all kinds of adventures together, and then they face Seth and win, and that's about it. This movie should have been a box office hit. People should have liked that. That was about to be the new Lionsgate franchise after The Hunger Games and Divergent. But we can pretty much see that didn't come to life. And the reason for it not coming to life was mainly because of a few things. The release was right in the middle of the Deadpool mania. People were going to see Deadpool. They didn't care about a movie about Egyptian mythology. And that's why the movie wasn't very successful with audiences. And it only got about a tenth of its very big budget of $140 million. The second reason was the accuse of whitewashing. Many people accuse the movie of whitewashing because almost none of the characters in the movie were ethnically Egyptian. And might I say, I live in the Middle East, and you couldn't be wronger. The woman who plays the goddess of love, she looks pretty Middle Eastern to me. And Zaya, also, she's very Middle Eastern. It's just that Egypt is not a very, despite being located in Africa, doesn't have a lot of black population. And besides, there is a black guy in the movie. The God of Wisdom is played by a black guy. And in general, if we're gonna criticize a movie just because of the race of the actors who play in it, then I think that says something about us movie critics and fans everywhere. And this rumor was a huge, huge blow to the movie even before it got released in theaters. And so why would people who have a choice of seeing Deadpool or London Has Fallen choose to watch a very bad movie, at least that's how critics say, that is also accused of whitewashing? And now moving to the actual factors of my review. One thing that was bad was the pacing and the dialogue in the movie. It was just horrifying. When the actors were talking, it just wasn't in sync. I mean, the dialogue is supposed to be smooth. It's supposed to easily transfer you from one scene to another. And whenever that transfer occurred, The dialogue simply was completely out of context. I mean, one moment Horus is talking about Osiris's love and the fact that they walk together in an amazing garden. Then all of a sudden, monsters appears and they should run. So you see, that's not such a very smooth transition. And the moment where Set is holding up this sphere and is calling the demon to arrive at the Egyptian capital, then yeah, he's not doing it very perfectly. He's standing there for like an hour like this, and you can look that he's not so sure, that Gerard Butler is not so sure about it. And yeah, that says something about the dialogue again. And the pacing was also pretty bad. I mean, like, first you see this coronation, everything is great, and then suddenly a coup, and you don't know anything about that coup. You don't know what's happening, really. But the movie at least tries to make up for it with glorious CGI. The CGI effects were amazing. It truly made you feel like you are in Egypt. And I know some people say, well, it's a bit video gamey, but who cares? Who cares if it's video gamey or not? These are CGI effects. They are supposed to make you feel like you're in the movie. And they are truly great. They truly brought the world of ancient Egypt to life. But the one thing I could say is that the CGI effects were pretty bloated. I mean, it was everywhere. And that was probably to make up for the poor dialogue and pacing. And also one thing, too much gold, guys. Too much gold. Too much gold, okay? This is ancient Egypt. I personally am a huge fan of Egyptian mythology, and I always wanted to study that, and that's why I truly hoped for this movie to be amazing. But now, because of some critics' prejudice, and I'm not going to mention, names, you could pretty much say there is no hope for our Gods of Egypt 2. And yes, it's true, the dialogue and pacing are a bit of a letdown. But still, this movie is no Deadpool, it's no Star Wars, it's not one of these big franchises that should have everything completely perfect. It's just a movie, and it's completely normal for it to be that way. And so, personally, I think we're giving this movie a bit of a harsh treatment. And this movie should be a perfect example why we movie critics and movie fans shouldn't be destroying a movie before it even hits theaters. Just go watch it first, then say all the bad things you want to say about it. So my rating of the movie is 7.1, because of the dialogue and pacing that took off 3 points. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not gonna give it like a 3 or a 4, because the effects were amazing, the choice of music was nice, the plot in itself is very good, and the choice of Egyptian mythology is very original. We don't see a lot of movies about Egyptian mythology lately. So, thank you for watching. I have been Kosher Movie Man. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you next time.